Should I close it, or are we waiting?
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to text to get in. So.
Yeah, so it's good. And they have your number,
Yeah.
so I can turn this off.
Yeah.
Okay. Turn it totally off. So just so you know, we'll do a few meditations, guided meditations. Might even do one not guided, who knows. But at the end, so last 20 minutes or so, we'll do questions. It's like an open dialogue, any questions people may have. So if you have any questions, pressing questions about meditation or anything that gets said in class or anything at all in life, maybe we can figure it out or we can talk about it. But we'll just we'll do that at the end. So I did bring the bowl today, so let's start. We'll start with a meditation. To begin in the usual way, start to notice your body. You can do this with your eyes closed or with your eyes open. If you're doing with your eyes open, you can have your eyes just slightly open so that it's like letting light in a way. Or you could try just having your eyes open all the way. Try whatever you like. Feel the presence of your body. Start to tune into the feelings, the physical feeling of the body, especially the parts of the body that are touching the earth in some way, touching some kind of surface, the chair, the cushion. Focus in on that feeling. Even the physical feeling of the hands resting on whatever they're resting on. Definitely want our spines to be as straight as possible, but at the same time being relaxed. You'll notice a difference in your awareness, in your focus. So if we take a nice deep inhale, and as we're inhaling, draw the crown of the head towards the sky, elongating the spine. And then as you exhale, keep that elongation of the spine as your shoulders relax. And then notice if it feels extreme, if it feels like you're pushing or trying, and settle into a position where it doesn't feel like you're trying, but you're still alert and open. The straight spine. Relax the jaw. Relax the eyebrows, the forehead. It can help to rest the tip of the tongue just at the top of the teeth, where the teeth meet the gums. The back of the top teeth can help relax the jaw and also help with the production of saliva, doesn't, which sometimes can be distracting if you create too much saliva and you're swallowing. And we'll hone in our focus a little more by even more intently now focusing on the physical sensation of where the body meets the earth. And doing your best to really focus on that feeling and not let the mental images of take over. So you may have a mental image, okay, those are my legs, that's how my legs are feeling. This is how my hips feel. A picture of possibly what your body looks like as it sits in meditation. On each exhale, try to exhale away that mental image, and then inhale and reinvigorate your focus on the feeling alone. So what you're doing is you're bringing yourself more into the present moment each time you do that. Our mental images are so often fraught with the past and the future, hopes and fears. Enlightenment is right now. So the more we can be right now, the quicker we'll see ourselves awake. We're going to transition focus to sound. So in the same way that we were tossing out the mental image of the physical body associated with the feelings, try and stay with the sensation of the sound that you hear, and continue to be present by tossing out mental images and staying with the sound alone. Stay aware of sound. Notice any changes, any feelings in your body that you're noticing that you feel got hummed in by the sound. And be aware of body sensations as you hear staying awake, staying present, ready for the next sound and how it will affect you, how it will feel when it happens. And somewhere underneath all that is a silent mind. That is untouched by any sound. And yet you can experience so in a way, feeling the sound ring off of your silence. How aware can you be of your silence at the same time that you hear the sound, you feel the sound? Same before coming out of the meditation, try and notice your relationship with sound right now. The normal sounds that you hear in the room. After having used sound as an object of meditation. And whatever still center may have arisen from that, try and stay with that experience or that sensation as you gently come back, slowly opening your eyes, slowly taking in the room, but softly. And then as you need to, maybe you need to straighten out your legs or shake anything out. She's like a little dancer. Does she like to dance? She looks like a ballet dancer or something. It's interesting, isn't it, that the purpose of meditation is like you're trying to still your mind. Yet it will produce an experience of yourself being more awake than you've ever been. So does that mean that you really are stilling your mind? How are you supposed to still your mind? Who's going to do that? Your mind is already still. The ultimate nature of your mind has never moved. So that's why mind is this very, very tricky word. Some people call mind the ego, and that you want to get off the mind. If you didn't understand that they were saying that the mind was the ego and get off the ego, then it would be very confusing. They go, what do you mean? How would I get off my mind? I mean, I am my mind, aren't I? It's kind of nice if you think of it in any way that you can relate to it, what your experience is. Like in your most quietest moments, in the most still you've ever been. And then, times when you've been overcome by some kind of mental affliction, some kind of attack, a jealousy attack, or some kind of competitive thing, or some kind of panic thing in your life. Could be anything. Even some kind of, ungrounded, joyous moment, where it's like, it's like you think that moment is the end all be all. Does someone text you?
He's coming. He's just gonna watch me.
Oh, who's that?
Like, yeah.
Okay. So the sign worked.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
Great. And so the interesting thing is that that's never going to stop. Like that ego mind or whatever it is, however you want to call it, that's like the reality that you're experiencing. It's not like, you can make that stop or change that. That's not it. It's more like you're discovering a new way to relate to it. Because we're not in control of whatever's happening next. Whatever's going to come down the road, whatever's going to pop up in the next instant. We like to think that we can control that. We, set all these parameters to try and prevent something from happening, or set all these parameters, in our life to try and entice something to happen and hope that it doesn't or that it does. But that's fine. That's how we do things. And that's how we live and create and be in relationship. But there's a, hello, hey!
Hi.
But so what we want to access in meditation is what's underneath all of that. What's underneath all of that. And that's the only way that we can understand life. Because life, without that, is ununderstandable. Nothing makes any sense. You've got way too many opinions. There are, there's probably as many opinions about what the truth is as there are people that are thinking anything. And how many religions do you have? Right? I don't even know. I don't even know if you could even count them. And people are fighting over all kinds of things and dissing people that are they think they're saying wrong things, and these people are not good people. But these people are good people because they are thinking these kinds of thoughts. And if you ask each one of them, they just disagree. There's going to be a group of people who don't think that Jesus was an enlightened being. You could say out of all the enlightened beings that you think that maybe like only 1% of them actually are enlightened. Or maybe they all are. Because whatever Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, I don't know, there's an endless list of these beings that are supposed to have existed. And there will always be someone else who, whatever qualities they display, don't qualify as what they think makes an enlightened being. So to those people, that's not an enlightened being. But to somebody else, yeah, that is an enlightened being. How do you solve these things? But if you can go deep enough into your own self and see how it is that your reality is arising, then you can accept all of those things and understand the usefulness of all of those things, and then understand that you get to make a choice. You can choose. You can choose a certain practice, a certain path, because for whatever reason, you're drawn to it. It doesn't even matter what the reason is. You're drawn to this way of being. Let's say it's Buddhism. And you understand that I'm making this choice. I'm making this choice because this appeals to me, and I like the way they talk. I like the things that they teach. I like what the Buddha has apparently said. It's written down. It must be true. But understand that is not the same choice that someone else would make or might make, which doesn't make your choice right or wrong or their choice right or wrong. Because the only, the important thing is that it's appropriate for you to discover what you really are. And that's all that any enlightened master has ever done. That's all they've ever done. They've figured it out. And they just started laughing. They started laughing because they saw that all the problems were mental. The whole thing was just a big facade. All the problems, all the things I gotta be, all the pressure I put on myself, all the pressure I put on other people, was all just because I didn't understand that I was already complete. I was complete from the beginning. And this crazy thing that may have lasted 1,000 lifetimes, I don't even know, is over. It's over now. Because I've seen it. How did I see it? Meditated my ass off. Daily, repeatedly, going for a deep plunge, as deep as you can on that day. Some days it's not going to be that deep. Other days it's going to be a deep plunge. Because what you are is joy. That's what you are. And if you're not experiencing joy, then just haven't, tuned into that yet. That thing, that endless fountain hasn't burst through the ice yet. That's all. It's just under the surface. And that joy that you are cannot be contaminated by anything. There is no situation in the world that can kill that joy, because it's what you are. But it's deep. It's a deep residing joy that is not associated with ice cream. It is not. It's not associated, it doesn't stop if you're late for work. It doesn't stop if you get too much work loaded onto you. It doesn't start if the right movie landed on Netflix. It doesn't start if someone delivers you the right meal. This is what you're shooting for. That's what you're shooting for. There's nothing else to shoot for. I mean, sure, have fun. You can create all kinds of things in life and do great, amazing things and help people and have great relationships and learn from each other. So many things from trying to live with each other. But the deeper that you go, the greater and deeper the quality of these relationships will have. It will just be a deeper relationship with everyone. So let's take a little break. break, stand up. I'm sure there's probably some snacks out there. And then we'll come back and meditate some more. So good to see you, Jake.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
That thing is insane.
Is it cool or what?
Can I touch it?
No, touch it. Play with it.
Awesome.
Stick your head in there. Anything you want.
Is it a crystal or is it?
It's made of yeah. It's a crystal singing bowl. You can whatever you want to do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outside or the inside?
Outside.
It's alive.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really something. Next time I got 3 of them. We'll bring all 3 in and get like 3 people playing them at the same time.
Same size?
They're slightly different. They're close to the same size, but they all have different tones. Go, yeah, you don't need to stop.
Pretty potent.
Yeah.
So like a little buzz after that thing.
Well, oh, you know what? There's I don't have a day scheduled, but just text me. Yeah, text me, phone me, whatever. We can just arrange a meeting. Yeah. We can, it's work good. Yep, it's the only Sunday morning thing. 1 or 2. Oh, yeah.
Pretty fun.
I find it really
You find it really what? Intense.
intense.
Yeah. So why?
The vibration.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's profound.
Do they have a small version of the crystals? Smaller?
Yeah, apparently they do. Yeah. Yeah.
So how much is that worth?
3.
Should put it on the outside.
But then.
Yeah,
We
since
saw,
we're okay
no,
that way.
yeah, I saw smaller ones after.
Yeah.
They didn't- I didn't ask. Next time I'll ask them, because nobody was standing there for me to go. I'm sure they can. Yeah.
Maybe 80 to 100.
Maybe.
Probably. Something like that. You don't know what they base their cost on, but
I guess it's expected. It's a precious stone.
Mhm.
yeah. Just do that all day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Suck it in.
Nice. You can't deny the And I think everyone is visiting. Yeah.
Oh, look at so cute. Yeah. Little meow.
Talk is hitting the spot.
What's that?
Your talk is hitting the spot.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good.
Very, very suitable.
Nice. Thank you. That's good. Good to hear.
In a space where I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm making up all this stuff.
I remember. You know what I always remember about you is. Do you remember when you told me about the blue screen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I always remember that one.
The Windows reset.
Yeah. Yeah. We were doing class and we did the pen, the emptiness pen. Jake was there for the first time, hearing about the pen, the emptiness of the pen. And he came up to me and he said, what did you say? You know that when you
I'm like, when Microsoft crashed.
yeah, the screen goes blue.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel like right now. I'm on blue screen right now. I always remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the operating system just crashed.
Yeah, that's a very great, holy state of mind, actually. Okay, people. There's a school bell ringing.
It's just for my cookie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. These are for questions if you feel like writing them down, but we can also just.
For our cookies.
Do you want it bigger?
It's okay. It's right.
So also, before we do the questions, I just want to say, if you're planning on continuing to come, and you could prepare questions. If you have any questions, and have them with you, then you can bring them, or you can even email me. Maybe you have a certain question you want to email me. You want me to address that in class. I'll do that too as well. I like it to be like that. I like it to because any question that you have is definitely going to benefit someone. It's probably someone's thinking it if you're asking it. Ready for another one? All right. Oh, good. Yeah. Maybe we should bring some bolsters in. Yeah, so we have a little more options for people. Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to cue too much. Just we'll begin the meditation. We're kind of already in that space. Just coming in from the break and talking on the break. So just let your mind settle and tune in to your body like before. And really, really great way to think of anything you're doing with the body and the breath is, focusing on something that's happening in the present moment. So it's like you're anchoring into something that's happening right now. The mind likes to wander off, so it's like a great way to anchor it. little meditation that we'll do is kind of a sequel from last week, in a way. In your mind, see yourself sitting in meditation. This mental image that you have of your mind, how it is that you look, what it is that you are. And then appearing before you is a being, appears to you, says hello. And you recognize that this being is an enlightened being. This being is totally awake. It's like they walked up to you, winked at you, and suddenly you realized, well, this is some kind of being of enlightenment here. Maybe it's your teacher. You finally realize that they were enlightened. Maybe it's a stranger. What you see in them is this channel of joy. This deep wisdom. Boundless love. Fills their physical body so that their body appears youthful, glowing, aglow. And you can see that you could say anything to them. And no possible way of making them angry or throwing them off or anything like that. They're completely centered. It's like nothing that in your mind or nothing at all in the world could diminish the joy that is in their heart. And you have the feeling that they love you directly and that they've known you for a long time. And then a beam of light comes from their heart and goes right into yours. And this light begins to fill you. Whatever light you see is going to be the appropriate color. whatever color that light is. Maybe it's colorless. And you have a sense that this light coming from them is bottomless, as if they were plugging you into infinity itself, as if they were plugging you into existence itself. And it fills you completely, so much so that you become a radiant ball of light, and this light begins to burst out of your body and goes out in all directions. And all you're doing is relaxing. You don't have to do anything. And as this being keeps pouring this light into you, this light keeps shining from you like you're lighting the whole world. And then you start to have this thought process of where do you start? Where do they begin? Where do they stop? Where do you begin? The line between you and this being begins to evaporate. And they draw closer. They draw closer. And finally, they just become a beam of light. And then they're inside your heart. Now, it's the both of you looking out. Now this inner holy being now shows you something. It points something out to you. And what you see are countless radiant lights. Like a million suns. And they're all pouring light on you. And then this inner holy being points something else out to you. Points out this tiny, tiny, tiny diamond. It's inside the very, very core of your heart. And as soon as you notice it, all the light from all the suns, all the beings, instantly refract in a dazzling display of rainbow light and explodes out of your heart. And all that remains is this idea of yourself. That you can barely hold on to anymore. You're letting it go. As the union of these two worlds, the outer and the inner, explode inside you. And you just stay awake and relax. And what you feel in your heart is joy and love. And you look out and see all the people. And you see this light in them. And you recognize that they're all your brothers and sisters. Every single one. They're all your mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters. Absolutely connected. And there's nothing for you to do. They're the people at your workplace, they're the people on the bus, the people on the street, the people from your past, the people you will see in the future. There's nothing for you to do. But just appreciate them. Try and notice any tension that arises as you sit like this. Relax it. Continue to let it be. Come out of the meditation slowly. Stay with that light in your heart. Gently coming out, coming back to the room. Nothing to think about, nothing to do. Just relax the body and stretch the legs out if you need to. Any one of these meditations that we do, it's just like a choice. You could just do it any old time you want to. There's a vast array of meditations you could choose from. Each one will develop your concentration. Each one will do something different for you, and you'll be drawn to certain ones. But that thing we just did there, that was about 20 minutes, maybe. You could do a variation of that in 5 minutes easily, behind your desk. Change your whole perspective. So, now we've come to the time where we can talk about anything we want to talk about, some questions we may have about anything, meditation, the Dharma, not the Dharma. me to sit here.
How would it be possible in the lab meditation to include someone that I'm resilient to believe, I believe that I'm superior and that they're inferior. I see, as you were describing, these are the good and these are the bad. How to come to a common space to shift that perception?
It's a really good question. You'll probably notice, and they say this about most everyone, is that whatever experience you're having, if you walk into a room, there's going to be some people, there's going to be a neutral bunch, some people you like, some people you don't like. But one way or another, we're dividing. One way or another, we're right? And Alvaro's question is a very good one, because as long as we struggle with that, what we're struggling with is our own division. We're struggling with our own divide in ourselves. So, in a meditation like that, you could do a specific where you would choose, like say you could choose one person that you feel, I am superior, or I am inferior, or something like that. You can do them both or one. And the key is to try and identify the self that you believe that you are in relation to them. That's the key. Is because in order for that dynamic to happen in your mind, in any one of our minds, we got to be there. A certain me has to be there. So, from someone that, it could happen 1,000 times in one day, where there's just a small little, almost unnoticeable flick of the mind where you see someone, and it's like there's this little judgment there that just places them below or way below. And then once in a while, someone's above. So, if you can feel, like get a taste for whichever version, like the Alvaro that is present when you're having the mindset of looking down on someone, and take the focus away from them and onto yourself. And try to see through the illusory aspect of how that's just it's like a thought, it's like a bubble. It's just something that comes up and goes, comes up and goes. And if you want to take it, to its degree of how you can really open yourself up with that, then you start asking yourself some questions. Why do I need that Alvaro? What does, if it was me, like what does that John want in that situation where I want to feel like I'm above? And if you do it enough, you'll find it. You'll find what it is, and that will be your answer. Like I know for me, the stuff that I was doing around that was I began to notice that in my mind. I began to notice that anywhere I went, I would put some people below, some people above, some people I didn't care either way. But what I started doing was noticing that I was making immediate assumptions based on the clothes they were wearing, or the things they were saying, or the way they were acting. So, that's another way to go about it, is one, finding the self that arises, and then also noticing how fast the mind assumes things, and what you're basing your view, you're basing your opinion on, and you'll find out that it's pretty silly things. You'll find out that it won't hold any water, and so there's some reason why we want those silly reasons to work, but as soon as we look at them, they fall apart. So what I started doing when I started noticing that, because I noticed that in myself years ago a lot, and what I started doing was having fun with it. I started going to parking lots and parking my truck in the parking lot, and just watching everybody coming and going, and noticing myself make judgment calls on every single person that came. Oh, there's a single mom, with 2 kids. Oh, not a very good mom. I just saw her for 3 seconds. Oh, there's a guy with a nice car. Okay, well, there goes that jerk with a nice car. And it was just constant. Or like, well, look at that cute girl. Or, you name it. An endless list. And the biggest thing for me was, I gotta be there. I'm somewhere on that thing. In order for me to have that experience, I'm there somewhere. And so not only I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down with my perception. And I noticed it was just automatic. It was automatic. Oh, they must have a good life. Must suck to be them. And with each interaction, I get to have my feelings. I get to get my little hit. Yeah, I'm somebody. Yeah, I'm really somebody special, somebody to contend with. Yeah, and if none of those things work, then you can default to one thing, which is recognizing that whoever you're looking at, whoever it is, they're doing their best. If none of the really heady things work, and you're getting all that's cramping your style, and you're getting all twisted up about that, you just look at them and go, yeah, they're doing their best. It doesn't matter. We're all doing our best. Every moment of every day, everyone's doing their best. Always. And you know, being critical of others is just being critical of ourselves, and that's where it comes from, anyways. You know, because as soon as we drop being self-critical, we can't be critical of anybody else, because that critical person has died, has gone. So as soon as we're critical about ourselves, then there's always going to be someone who is up there and unreachable. And God, if I could, I'll never reach that. I'm not good enough to reach that. Not in this lifetime, anyways. It's way out of my reach. And then we just have then we get our feelings. Right, I get to beat myself up. They're one and the same. Yeah, and if that doesn't work, then you just go right back to we're all the same. We don't want to suffer. We want to be happy, but we don't want to suffer, and we're all exactly the same like that. You know, and just try and ignite the compassion. You know, and that's good, and that'll work, and that will plant great seeds. But to break free will be finding the self that arises. That help?
Thank you.
Yeah. We got 10 more minutes. Anybody else want to throw something out there? Yasmin? No? Ah.
So the meditation,
Yeah.
how do you know it's working? Like
How do you
living in
know
the
it's
moment
working?
and stuff. Like
Pardon?
how can you, so when they say like you be in the moment and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
How do you quantifiably, like intangibly tell the effect of doing that in your life?
Okay. You start to feel more relaxed. You start to feel more loving towards other people. You start to feel more loving toward yourself. Concentration increases. You're able to focus more on anything that you want to focus on. Like, so maybe there's a project that you've got going on or something like that, and then suddenly you find that you have an ability to, like, everything else is out of focus, and this one thing is right in focus. And this is what, you develop that ability. You become happier, you start feeling happier. Now, but before you start feeling happier, you may also begin to feel a little bit crazy first. Because what will also begin to happen is you'll start to notice, unless you're already way past that point and you're like, you got a completely still mind and you're not afflicted, mentally afflicted, you'll notice the way the mind is constantly barraging us with thoughts. Negative, positive, neutral, negative, positive, neutral. Like that, don't like this, don't care about that, like, no, right? Like in a constant stream. And all kinds of thoughts about you, about others, which you'll just start to notice for the first time, maybe. And it's not like anything's changed, it's just suddenly that you've turned a light on that's shining now upon how the mind has been operating since you were little, and just now you're just noticing it. So you go through a period of feeling quite crazy. Everybody that I talk to that has gone from not meditating to meditating on a daily basis, every single person, I haven't met one person that hasn't come to say, John, I feel completely crazy right now. And it's like, awesome. That's good. That's a good sign, because you're just noticing now how the mind is. But in and amongst, around all that, you just become more aware, become more awake. And because it's not like you can do one meditation. We can do one meditation, it can feel nice. We can do a meditation together in class, and we're like, there's something powerful about meditating together. It's like, and then we can go out in the world and immediately that's gone. Doesn't mean the meditation didn't work. Because every single time you sit down to meditate, you're developing your concentration, and we're tuning our mind into a different realm of reality. So eventually that inner realm of silence becomes actually the reality, the actual reality, and then the crazy outside becomes the illusion. And that's crazy for a while, and then you marry those two, and then it's just relaxing, you're awake. Yeah? Anything, does that make sense, or were you looking for something else?
Well, how do I know that I'm focusing better? Like it's so like intangible.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know, okay, I'm focusing better than I was before?
Like, well, wait, when you say before, are you talking about like 1 day ago or 2 months later? This is important. Is it a week? Is it 2 months? Is it a year? How much time has gone by before you ask that question?
Right, like a month.
A month. Well, have you meditated for a month yet on a daily basis? Well, if you want to find out, really, then I suggest that you do an experiment. I would be very surprised if you meditated for 30 days straight and didn't have something to say about it. Didn't have some kind of noticeable effect on how you felt in your body, how you felt about your mental process and your interactions with people, and because you begin to notice things that will, like, you begin to notice that there are pop-ups that will pop up in your mind that you suddenly realize, wait a minute, this isn't them, and this in a way isn't me either, but it's definitely between us, and I'm looking through this thing at them, and I think it's them, you know, and so like that. Some people notice things like they just feel more relaxed, because one of the great benefits of meditating is really it takes a lot of energy to try and maintain and hold all that we attempt to maintain and hold in any given day. Like, for myself, I can say, you know, it took a while to start to notice like really big changes, but the small changes I noticed pretty quickly. But what I noticed fairly early on was that it was taking me a lot of energy to try and hold up an image that I wanted to be seen like, you know, like an idea that I had, you know, of being like, I don't know, John, the hard-working, good old guy, you know. I want to be that guy. I want to be seen like that. Good boyfriend. Boss likes this guy. You know, these are important things to me. I want my dad to be proud of me. You know, I want all those things, and I want to believe all those things about me. And so that takes mind space and energy, and it's an illusory identity that has to evaporate at some point, so that, and then we break free of those things. And you catch, I remember, this is kind of funny, I've told this story before, but when I started meditating, I began to notice things I was doing at work. And one of them was, I began to notice that I really wanted to be seen like a hard worker at work. You know, there's John, he works hard. And so what I noticed, this is how I caught myself one day. Sorry if some of you have heard the story already. But we were doing a roofing job, and I was hooking up a propane tank to a propane hose, and I was threading the thing onto the nozzle, and I like woke up in the middle of this thing, and I had the wrench in my hand. I was going like really like acting like I was really working hard at turning that wrench. It's like, I just started laughing because through meditation I saw, boom, there he is. There's that guy, and for a moment I was free of him. I was free of him just for a moment, but he was so belligerent and strong. He took over right away. But I had a moment there, and then I laughed, and pretty soon my shoulders were back up again, and I was, but I had gained awareness of it, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have gained some stillness in my mind. I just still would have, I don't know, I probably would have got hurt at work or something, fallen into a hole or something. I don't know.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about you mentioned like quantifying and like something you want to quantify. Like in my perspective, it's actually kind of simple, like for me, because I think when I first started meditating, it was like really difficult to like sit down for like more than like 10 minutes, and even in those 10 minutes is extremely hard to like maintain focus. But then like over like the last couple of years, like I can maybe sit down for about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm not saying like fully like focusing for those 30 and 45 minutes. I hope I can get there. But the fact that I can like sit down for like 45 minutes straight versus a couple of years ago I couldn't do that for more than like 10 minutes or so. It's kind of something you can quantify, I guess.
The scientist speaks. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. That's class. So next class is Halloween, so we will not be having a class next Monday. We're not going to do class on Halloween Monday. And Joyce will send an email out to remind everybody of that. And so I'll miss you guys for a week, but we'll see each other again in 2 weeks if you choose to do so. Yeah, and again, don't be afraid. Email me anything you want to, or text me anything you want to. Be addressed in class, and I'll do my best, or bring questions. So let's do a little dedication. Just have a hope in your mind, a wish in your mind that just from you coming here tonight and doing some meditating, turning inward, turning off the world for a moment, and getting interested in your inner mind. Just think that by the truth of doing that, may many beings benefit. May many beings benefit from what I've done here tonight. And may all beings be free of suffering and full of boundless joy. Thank you all. Great.